Looking at those text messages, and I know that you've testified regarding those text messages numerous times, correct?
Yes.
You sent a text message on August 29th, 2010, and that's while you were currently pregnant, correct?
Yes.
All right. That text message reads, were you still gonna let me borrow that money today for that one thing? Question mark. If you can't afford it now, just let me know. Talking
Yes.
about an abortion, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Let me know by 3 when we are meeting up. The doc said Wednesday that it wouldn't be fair to get it done or it wouldn't be too far to get it done for another 2 weeks. I'll call them tomorrow. Again, another text message that you sent, correct?
Yes.
That same day, August 29, 2010, I wanted to do that thing before you get back because I don't want them to say it's too late if we wait until you get back, so just in case. And then you also, just a few minutes later, say, are you still letting me borrow that? Again, referring to the abortion and borrowing money for that, correct?
Probably.
Again, later in the day on the 29th, you ask, can you leave base tomorrow? Can we take you to get money tomorrow? State, trying to make the appointment online. Can we get the money tomorrow or not? So again, same day, asking about getting that money and setting up appointments for an abortion.
Probably. I don't have the text messages, and that was 6-7 years ago. But it was probably regarding what you're asking.
Well, you've testified before and admitted that those were text messages that you sent and they were related to...
That's why I'm saying probably was, but I'm not testifying to anything I don't 100% remember.
All right. If I can have a second then. This would be the trial transcript volume 2, beginning on page 107. You were asked on August 29th of 2010 at 12 o'clock or 11:55 that you had texted him stating, were you still going to let me borrow that money today for that one thing? If you cannot afford it now, just let me know. That was about the abortion for Kate, correct? And you responded, yes.
Yes.
So that was your testimony then.
Okay.
And that would be your testimony still today?
Yes, I thought we answered that.
And then at 12:03 on the same day, you stated, okay, thank you. Let me know by 3 when we are meeting up. The doctor said Wednesday that it wouldn't be too far to get it done for another 2 weeks. I'll call them tomorrow. So on that text message, you're telling him that you have talked to the doctor about the abortion, correct?
Yes.
And you stated yes.
Yes.
That was your testimony then, and that's your testimony today?
Yes.
And the doctor told you that you still could get it done within those next 2 weeks?
Yes.
You said that'd be, there's a next, that would be at 1:40 in the afternoon on the same day. I want to do that thing before you get back because I don't want them to say it's too late if we wait until you get back just in case. So again, about the abortion, correct? And you affirm yes.
Yes.
That was, okay, so that was your testimony then and your testimony today.
Yes.
Moving back down to where we left off, you said that you were trying to make the app online. Can we get the money tomorrow or not?
Yeah.
So-
Yes.
And you say, can we do that, please? And then the next text message is, hello, question mark, and then forget it, I guess, I can't get a hold of you to get it anyway. And then you text him again the same day on the 29th, a little bit later, can we just come get the money, please? And the next message is, can we do that, please? Again, asking for money for an abortion.
Probably.
Do we need to go over all of your testimony previously, or is it probably, or it?
I don't know what you want me to
Show
say.
it to her first.
Thank you.
Page 109.
Which transcript comes?
Same one, volume 2 of the previous trial. If you could just read from line 1 to the middle of, I believe, line 5 or 6.
I'm sorry, what page?
109.
No, that's the
Try volume 2. And you were asked, again, there were texts about the money and about the abortion, correct?
Yes.
And she says, is that correct? And you said, yes, they're all about the abortion.
Yes.
And that was after you went through about the entire list of all of the texts that I am about halfway through. So you admitted that all of those at that trial were regarding the topic of abortion.
Yes.
Right. That was your testimony then. Would that change today?
No.
You texted then on, let's see, the August 30th, 2010, about 1:48. Went to the doctor today. He said we have to make a decision before the end of the week. It's important that I talk to you today. Can you call me, please? The next day, August 31st, at about 1:10 p.m., are you going to be back in time on Friday to do that, or even Saturday? If not, I'm going to have to come to you and get the money to do it while you're gone. Is that a text message that you would have sent in regards to an abortion?
Yes.
Because I have to do it this week, I guess. Listen to my voicemail. I kind of explained it in that. So what do you want to do?
Yes.
Again, same day, would have been a few minutes later. What do you want to do? I really need to know.
Yes.
And that was, again, a text message regarding abortion and needing money.
Yes.
If we wait and give our son up for adoption, they will make you take a paternity test, and when it comes back that it's yours, not only will they make you pay them back for tests, which is about $500, I'm assuming we're $500, but they could find you in contempt of court, and I don't want that to happen. Then follow that up with, that's why I'm trying to figure everything out, so that doesn't happen, and we're running out of time. The next text message after that is, why can't I come up there and get the money so we can get this over with? Again, all text messages on the 31st of August 2010 regarding abortion.
Yes.
Sounds in those text messages that you're seriously considering abortion, correct?
I was.
Actually, it sounds like you're trying to force him to give you money so you can get the procedure done as soon as possible.
That's not true.
Okay. And you're asking him for money?
I was.
And was it money for an abortion?
It was.
Because you previously testified that it wasn't money for an abortion, it was money that you wanted so you could go and get clothes and buy other things for Kate.
Correct.
So was it money for an abortion, or was it money for items for Kate?
It was both. I didn't know what I wanted at the time.
You were originally interviewed June 29th, 2011, a couple times by the police. And you had,
Board counsel.
I'm just generally asking questions right now about dates you interviewed. I haven't referred to.
Okay.
But the night that this incident occurred, you were interviewed a couple times by the police, correct?
Yes.
And then you were interviewed, again, I believe, July 4th by the FBI. You remember speaking with?
I remember speaking with him, yeah. I'm just not sure what
Just
day.
not sure what dates.
Yeah.
Okay. And then also numerous other times that you were interviewed, July 7th, 2011. You talked with the police again
Yes.
and testified at a prelim in a kidnapping case and again at that trial, correct?
Yes.
When you were interviewed on July 7th, 2011, you stated that Sean talked about abortion, and you said you were too far along.
Yes.
Objection, counsel, where?
I'll come back to that then. In all of those interviews that we talked about, though, you never mentioned all of those numerous text messages that you'd sent to Sean, did you?
They never asked.
Okay. They asked you about abortions in those, correct?
Right.
And they asked you about adoptions. and whether you and Sean had talked about those things, correct?
Correct, I answered them.
Okay. But failed to ever mention the numerous text messages or conversations of you asking him for money, for you numerously asking him, we need to get this done, we needed to get it done tomorrow, the next day.
I guess I'm confused about what you're trying to say.
Well, why didn't you disclose this information at the interviews on the 29th of June with the FBI?
I answered every one of their questions truthfully, and they know that.
Okay. We'll move on to the topic of adoption now. You testified at the prelim in this matter, I believe on page 108, that you don't remember who brought up the issue of adoption.
Correct?
Okay. Could have been you.
It could have.
Again, in discussing adoption, did Sean ever threaten you?
No.
Ever, he never physically forced you to fill out paperwork?
No.
You guys both did research into adoptive families?
We did.
Some of this research you did together,
We did.
and some of it you did by yourself.
Yes.
And it was your idea to go to Grand Rapids.
It was.
In fact, you guys made 2 trips down there.
We did.
You had your friend, I believe Fawn Nelson, print off maps and directions to the Grand Rapids DHS office.
Yes.
That wasn't Sean's idea to print off the map or go to Grand Rapids, was it?
I don't know about the map. I was obviously for him because he was driving, but it's 2 separate.
Okay. Well, he didn't print off the map, did he?
No, he didn't.
You asked your friend to print it off.
That doesn't mean that he didn't want me to.
Okay. And you went to Grand Rapids twice,
We did.
and you stated that you went to the DHS office.
Yes.
Sean never went, well, he went in the building,
Correct.
sometimes with Haley and/or Kate.
Yes, he did.
Took him to the bathroom, watched them while you went in and filled out paperwork and picked up paperwork.
Yes.
He didn't drag you up there by your arm and force you to pick up the paperwork, did he?
No.
Stand over you and tell you, you have to fill this out now because we're doing this today?
No.
While you were in Grand Rapids, you also went and visited with your bio dad?
Not in Grand Rapids. We drove to him.
And where did he live?
He lives in Owasso.
Okay. But that was on one of those trips that you went to DHS?
It was.
Okay. And that was so he could meet Kate?
I'm not 100% sure why we went. I remember talking about it, but I'd have to look back at what I said for a 100% accurate answer. But we did go and visit him.
Okay. Had Kate with you though?
We did.
Okay. So you could, was it so that he could meet Kate before you possibly gave her up for an adoption?
I don't, like I just said, I can't testify to something I don't remember.
In your interview on June 29th, you stated that Sean mentioned
June 29th, what date?
2011. It was
What report number?
the first interview.
What report number?
I have a transcript of that.
See it?
So you had given an interview on June 29th at the Ludington Police Department
Yes,
with Detective Kenny.
yes.
All right. And you were asked, referring to line 18 on page 20, have you and Sean had any other discussions ever about giving Kate up for an adoption? Your answer was, he has mentioned it a couple times, like that's what he wanted to do, but it was never anything that was seriously taken into consideration. Like I would never put her up for adoption. So something that you guys only mentioned a couple times, but in fact you had done research, gone to DHS, filled out paperwork,
Which
sent
are-
numerous text messages about abortions, correct? It wasn't something that just was mentioned a couple times and never considered.
Correct.
You had even told Sean that there was a family ready to adopt Kate, correct?
I could have. I'm not 100% positive on that.
Okay. You had discussions about adoption the day Sean was served papers for the paternity test,
Yes,
and you also sent him numerous text messages regarding the topic of adoption as well,
I did.
okay? If I may approach, Your Honor?
You may.
Counsel, just so I'm clear, those are unedited, right?
These are the exact same ones from the previous trial. There was that one edit that was.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, show you what's been marked Defendant's Exhibit number 17. If you want to look through those for a minute
Okay.
and see if you recognize those. You got a chance to look at those text messages?
Yes,
All right. And you recognize those as text messages that you had sent to Mr. Phillips
yes,
from your phone?
yes.
I believe that there are approximately 100 of those text messages starting back in November 30th, which would be in 2010 through June 12th of 2011. Correct?
I didn't look at the, yes, yes.
Hold on to these to refresh your memory. on Monday, May 23rd at 6:34 PM.
May 23rd, of what year, council?
This would be 2010. Or no, sorry, 2011. You sent a text that says, "Call me when you get a chance, babe, might be able to do Kate tonight."
I don't have that. Oh, I see, okay. Okay, I guess I do.
And that again is referring to giving Kate up to a family for an adoption.
It is.
Again, that same day at 7:25 PM. Do you want to do Kate tonight? Correct?
Yes.
The next text is Tuesday, May 24th at 6:42 PM. Can we please take Kate tonight?
Yes.
Two pages down, it's one that's blacked out the date and time. I'm going to plug my phone in for like 15 minutes. I love you so much, and we will do this thing with Kate tonight.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
Again, about giving Kate up for an adoption.
Yes.
The next one is Thursday, May 26th at 6:55 PM. So do you want me to make it for tonight or try for tomorrow?
Yes.
Same thing?
Yes.
The next one's Saturday, May 28th at 12:55 AM. Can we take Kate sometime after 2 today?
Yes.
And that's again referring to an adoption.
Yes.
The next one, May 28th at 10:08 PM. Am I taking Haley tomorrow? And do you want to take Catherine then?
Yes.
Same thing, adoption.
Yes.
The next one is a two-part message, 76 and 75 in the inbox on May 29th at 3:28 PM. I'm not playing your game anymore of let's not answer the phone. It's quit, which I think is quite ridiculous. I'm done trying to do this shit with Kate. I tried all weekend and you ignored me. Are you bringing her or not, Sean? Again, that was in regards to the issue of an adoption.
I believe so.
Then moving to message 72 at the top, 3 pages down, which is on Sunday, May 29th at 7:56 PM. You state, you just blew any chance of doing anything with Kate. Miss MIS, well, tell your parents now about Kate because they're going to find out when you take the DNA test. Again, that's you threatening him that he blew any chance of giving her up for an adoption, correct?
Yes, these all are the same thing.
Message 70 on May 29th at 8:27 PM that same day, a little bit later. Do you want to take Kate now or what?
Which one?
Message number 70.
Yes.
The next one, May 29th at 8:42 p.m., 10:30, 11, okay for tonight to take her?
Yes.
And do you want to take Kate tonight or not, on May 29th at 9:05 p.m.?
Yes.
Then message 67, if you don't call me back by tonight about Kate, I promise I'm keeping her.
Yes.
The next one, immediately following that, May 29th at 9:28 p.m. Fine, be a bitch and ignore me. I'll do the same and we just won't take Kate.
Yes.
The next day at 7:47 a.m., call me if you want to do that thing with Kate today. You need to make an appointment.
Yes.
Correct. And then at 9:18 a.m., in all caps, can we take Kate today? Question mark.
Yep.
The next day, May 31st at 12:22 a.m., can we bring Kate today?
Yep.
The same day at 10:41 a.m. You taking Kate now?
Are these, any of these inboxes, like showing Sean's response, or are we just going through mine first?
The only information that I was provided and have is your text messages.
Okay.
So these are what you sent, correct?
These are what I sent, yes.
Next one, Tuesday, May 31st at 1:40 p.m. What time you want to meet tonight to do this?
Yes.
Then June 1st, I'm not doing it tomorrow. I have shit to do. You should have called me all day trying to do it. If you couldn't at the last minute,
Probably none of these have his. They're not
that's
the same.
just asking you if this is your text messages that you sent regarding the topic of adoption.
And I'm saying that some of these I can't answer because I don't know what he said first. Like right here, I'm not doing it tomorrow. I don't know what he said to me first.
So you're not sure if this one's about,
I'm not 100%. I'm saying I'm pretty sure it is, but there's nothing from him that I have.
so that one you're not sure if it was about the topic of an adoption.
No, I'm not 100% sure on this. I don't know.
Okay. Then on June 2nd at 3:33 p.m., are we taking her today or tomorrow? I need to know so I can make an appointment. That's message 53 of 100.
53?
Correct.
Again, I'm not 100% sure. It doesn't, yes, yes.
So that one was for the issue of an adoption.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that was,
Because then following that up, June 2nd at 4:31 p.m., the lady wants to know if we can do it tonight.
yes.
Same date, June 2nd at 5:22. Can you take her tonight?
Yes.
And again, can you, question mark?
Yes.
Then the next one is June 2nd. When can we take her? Again, referring to adoption.
I can't answer all these. This was so long ago, and a lot of these aren't very specific as to what is going, I mean, we're talking about hours in between there. We could have been talking about Haley, something else. You have no messages from Sean. I don't.
Okay, so we'll move to message 41 on June 3rd of 6:26 p.m. Or sorry, message 40, June 3rd at 10:39 p.m.
Okay.
So the adoption agency lady called me?
Yes.
That's clearly about
Yes.
June 6th. Can you print off those adoption papers? So you're asking him to bring you over adoption papers. message 37. On June 6th at 6:57 a.m.
Yes.
Same date, 3 hours later at 10:34 a.m. Can you, question mark?
Again, I can't testify to what that text was about. It just says, can you?
Message 21 of 100 on June 9th at 8:37 p.m.
Okay.
WTF, so when are we bringing Kate then? Question mark. Followed with the next text message on June 9th, same date at 8:44. We doing it tonight or tomorrow? Again, that's referring to adoption.
Yes.
And the next message, tonight or tomorrow, question mark, need to know. Message 17 of 100 on June 9th at 10:35 p.m. Why are...
Whoa, she didn't answer. Excuse me, Robert, she didn't answer.
The first question, I'm not 100% on that. It's another one of those questions that aren't very specific. The second question, are you finished asking me?
Oh. No, there were two.
The
Two,
first,
right?
yes, the first two are the ones that you were talking about on June 9th.
Yep.
Yes, those ones, I'm not 100% on. It's not very specific. But the other one, the one on June 9th at 10:35,
Yep.
yes.
The one, why are you ignoring me? They need to know when we can do this, so when can we?
Yes, that was in regards to adoption.
The next one, June 9th at 10:51 p.m. They want to do it now. Message 16 of
June
100.
June 9th?
Yep, message inbox 16 of 100. They want to do it now, Thursday, June 9th at 10:51 p.m.
I don't know, it's skipping from June 10th to June 11th.
May I approach for a minute?
You may.
Oh, what time? You said June 9th? Oh, 14? This one.
Actually, if you could flip 2 pages from the bottom stack up, it's message 16. No, it's the other way. Great. Inbox 16 of 100. They want
This
to...
is 15 of 100?
Right, one more.
One. Okay.
Okay. That was immediately following the one which which you admitted that, why are you ignoring me? They need to know now. When can we do this? So when can we? And then at 10:51, 16 minutes later, which is message 16, they want to do it now.
Correct.
And that's about the adoption.
Yes.
If you could flip to message number 11.
Okay.
Okay. It says, "Are you serious? Question mark. Why are you ignoring me? They've been wanting to take Kate all day, and you're not answering. My brother's thing starts at 6, and I wanted to take Haley." And then it continues on the next page, message 10 of 100. "Why did you hang up? What the hell is going on?" And that was on Friday, June 10th at 3:31 p.m. It's a two-part message.
The first half I remember, but the second half, I'm not sure what was going on with my brother down.
Okay,
I'm
but
not
the
100% of that.
first part, "Why are you ignoring me? They have been wanting to take Kate all day and you're not answering," that was clearly
Yes.
about
Yes.
an adoption. Then message 9 of 100 on June 10th at 3:40.
I'm sorry, what was the name of the last one?
The previous one. June 10th at 3:31 p.m. Are you on message 9?
Yes.
Right. "Where the hell are you? Question mark. I need Haley and there's a typo, THIUGHTVWE, which I
Thought
thought we were taking Kate."
Yes.
That was about adoption.
Correct.
And then the last one, inbox 1 of 100, which is the second to, yep. "Can you take Kate tonight? Thanks for ignoring my call."
Yes.
So these are all text messages that you sent to Sean, and the ones that we went through, you identified those as ones all being on the topic of adoption.
Correct.
May I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
I believe this has been marked as Defendant's Exhibit 17, and I would move for its admission.
Your Honor, the only objection that I would have is that we have a numbering system in place, so I'm wondering if maybe they can number their exhibits like A, B, C, D, or...
No, we follow, I follow a sequential numbering system in here, and we will stay with the sequential numbering. This is 17, and as to any objection to the admission of this item?
Oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor, that was my only objection.
Okay. 17 is admitted.
And I do have copies, Your Honor, that are available to publish to the jury. For the court like that, now or when we take a break.
Why don't you pass them out? This is the official court exhibit. Did you give an exhibit to counsel? Or did you have an extra exhibit for the court? Did you have an extra exhibit for the court or no?
I do have an extra exhibit if the court needs one.
Thank you. Counsel, you've been through these in some detail. I certainly the jury can pick up where we were with those and reviewing them later. Do you think they need to review them all in detail now?
No, Your Honor, that would be fine with that.
Then you may proceed.
Even the day of the incident, you left Sean a voicemail regarding adoption, correct?
Yes.
That message was on June 29th at 10:20 a.m. It states, "Hi, I was wondering if you want to take Kate today. I have to be in there at about 1, though, take her for that DNA test, so if we don't do it before 1, then it ain't gonna happen, so give me a call back, bye." That was a voicemail message regarding giving up Kate for adoption that day, correct?
Yes.
May I make approach, Your Honor?
You may.
Have Defendant's Exhibit 18, which is a transcript of that voicemail. That is the voicemail that you left, correct?
Yes.
All right, would move for admission of Defendant's Exhibit number 18.
No objection.
Exhibit 18 is admitted.
For the court and copy.
This is the official.
So those text messages, wait a minute. All right. Those text messages sound more, a lot more consideration than just, we talked about it a few times and didn't really consider it any more than that, which is what you initially told the police.
Yes.
One of the reasons you stated that Sean wanted either the abortion or the adoptions, that he was concerned about his parents,
Yes,
what they would say,
yes,
they would be upset with him,
yes,
his parents would be mad and ruin his life.
yes.
You guys didn't really ever, throughout your relationship, care what his parents really thought, did you?
That's
Their
not-
feelings never really affected your relationship.
Objection, Your Honor, I'd ask that he limit his question to her.
Excuse me, I'm not sure I understood your objection.
What he asked her is, you and Sean never cared what your parents thought. I think she can only testify what she thought about his parents, not what Sean thought.
Do you have a foundational basis for what Sean knew or thought? Did she know? Counsel,
If I could have just a minute, Your Honor.
you may.
In the prelim exam, I believe it's
Which one comes?
for this matter, April 3rd, volume 1. At page 107. You were asked, even though his parents may not have been happy with there being another child in your guys' relationship, you could set that aside. You asked if I could repeat the question, and I'd asked you to testify that his parents weren't happy with the fact that you guys were still in a relationship,
Correct,
correct? And that you might be having another child,
correct,
bother them. But it didn't seem to affect your guys' actual relationships. Things were still continuing to improve,
correct,
and you answered yes. Their thoughts never affected our relationship. They had their thoughts, but we were pretty rebellious towards them, I guess is what the word would be used, I guess. So you guys, you didn't really care what his parents thought. You guys were going to do your own thing, make up your own mind.
it's not that we didn't care, they were just unreasonable then.
Well, so their thoughts never affected our relationship.
And that's why, because they were unreasonable. They had already pinned their judgments on me before they even met me.
And Sean didn't really have a problem with that, did he?
He did in the beginning for the first year and a half. He would stand up for me and try to get them to see that I wasn't who they thought I was, probably the first 2 years. And then after he got back from the military training, that's when it all went downhill. That's when he started looking at his parents like they were gods and listening to everything that they said.
You've never testified to that before.
I'm testifying to it now.
So, but even with that, you testified that during your pregnancy and even after Kate was born, your guys' relationship continued to improve.
I thought it did.
During the pregnancy, other than the topics of abortion and adoption, you also testified about birth announcements that went missing.
Correct.
Correct? And the first time you said that you found those in Sean's trunk?
Correct.
And then yesterday you testified that the second time they went missing, that Sean had thrown those away.
Correct.
And you said that he told you, admitted that he threw them away.
Correct.
You were interviewed by the FBI,
Correct.
correct? And that was on July 4th of 2011?
Yes.
And you told the FBI on July 4th, 2011 that you think Sean took them and threw them away. So not that he admitted to it, just that you thought they were thrown away because they were missing.
I'm not sure.
All right, council, we're at about 10:30. I'm going to take a break. Ladies and gentlemen, the jury will take a break till 10:40. Remember my instructions to you are not to talk to one another about anything in this matter or to anyone else, not to listen to any reports that may exist about this matter, police reports, internet reports. And if you need to get fresh air, you are permitted to leave the building, but you must be back here by 20 minutes to the hour. That would stand in recess.
much, does it?
Yeah, go back.
What's that? Yeah. Yeah. Come back. Oh, I don't remember that. It must, like I said, it was in some time. Well, I did it. Yeah. Yeah.
It's probably, it's the most.
Six?
Number 50. Number 50
Number 50, what?
in the FBI's.
Okay. Have a clean copy. Or no, I don't. Oh, that's right.
Let me start studying. I'll start.
Okay.
No problem. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, but you're done. You can do it mine. Yeah, yeah, 75, Ariel.
In the boxes.
Well, there's Jason for the cause.
Yeah.
This is we have a supplement on the wild goose chase from Judge Fox.
Yeah, okay, give it to Glenn.
Well, this is your copy. This is
Got it. Oh, yeah, I have it.
Hold on.
Thank you.
I figured you had that covered, but I
Yeah.
just thought it.
No, it's the exact same ones I have.
Drunk, where were we at? Drunk part, yes.
That's all it is.
All right.
You got, well, I don't know quite when to consider this, but there was a, Karen, are there any questions to the judge, to the bailiff to give them? It's not, is your question to be asked yet, because I haven't asked for those things? I don't know. I'm not gonna respond to it until we get to your questions. We just need to know that they presented it.
If you got the exhibits, this is, I haven't started the book for us yet with all the handouts for the jurors. Yeah, we might catch that up. You got, do you have an answer we got already today?
I do.
So, okay, I was just gonna.
Yeah, okay.
We got something.
Was it text messages first or the voice call?
Text message first.
First? So we're 19.
Correct. The next one will be 19.
Yes, correct. So your system in this courtroom is such that it's just sequential. So you really can never number anything in advance because you don't know what the, as he had said, he wanted it to be marked in advance. That's why I did this list. Yeah. So, okay. Is that how Judge Cooper did it too?
That's how the state made our court reporter manual
Yeah.
says to do chronological sequence.
Somewhere.
We're gonna look at it like in my office.
I can't either. I'm really around all these documents. It is.
Yeah, I would say probably my son was really bright, halfway through.
So you have me, 51st Circuit Court's in session, all rise.
You may be seated, thank you. All right, you may bring the jury back.
A rock to break a window or a way to,
First, yes,
so you did say that you were looking for a rock to break into the house.
I did because that window always jams, it's broke, so it, when you open it, it doesn't stay open, so it slams back down. So it's hard to get back open because of the weight.
And you told officers that Sean didn't have permission to take her on that day.
Correct.
And you've also testified yesterday that he didn't have permission to take her, correct?
Yesterday I testified that he didn't have permission to take her.
I believe so. And at the prelim on August 3rd, you stated that Sean didn't have permission to take her.
I don't recall yesterday specifically stating that, but,
Well, at the prelim on August 3rd of 2011 for the original trial,
okay,
you testified that Sean didn't have permission to take her, correct?
correct.
However, you contacted the police on August 14th of 2011, wanting to talk to them about some concerns you had. Do you remember that?
I do.
And you went in there and said that, wait, actually, I think Sean did have permission to take her.
That's not the way I said it, but
Okay. You said something along those lines, though?
can I clarify?
Sure.
Okay. The detectives told me that because that the situation was so sensitive, you don't always remember everything that happens because it's so traumatic at the time. They told me that at some point, if anything ever were to come across it, they didn't tell them to be honest with them and tell them what happened. The more I thought about the situation, the more I said, well, I think that maybe when we were arguing, it was brought up, and I said that if you'd like to take Kate to do your errands, that you could, but it was an argument. He never said that he was going to specifically take her. I didn't do anything wrong. I did what the detective said for me to do.
Okay. So, but you believe that you may have told him that in some way or form that he had permission to take her?
Correct.
had a trial back on April 18th, 2012, referring to volume 3 of that those transcripts, page 39. Page 39 and 40. I may approach her on it.
You may.
Read those 2 pages real quick.
Okay. Okay.
Having reviewed that, does that refresh your memory?
As to, what was the question?
Just as to the interview that you gave, reading those, that refreshes your memory to those questions and answers that were in here?
It is.
You were asked, at the time you told Detective Kinney that you gave Sean permission to take Kate, correct? And you responded yes.
Yes.
And so Detective Kinney had you come into the interview room, correct?
Yes.
And when you met at the interview, you had talked to Detective Kinney?
Yes.
And were explaining to him that on the day that Sean dropped you off back at the apartment, you got into an argument with him, correct?
Yes.
39. And you told him that he could take Kate?
Correct.
And after that, you had that discussion with Detective Kinney, Detective Posma came into the interview room, correct?
Yes.
And he talked to you about making the statements that you gave Sean permission?
Correct.
And he specifically said to you that you were asked at the preliminary exam, were you not?
I think I replied with, I'm not sure.
Yeah, that he could have. And you stated at they asked, you stated at the preliminary exam, when the prosecutor said, did you give Sean permission to take Kate that day? You said no, correct? And your answer to that was yes?
Yes.
And Detective Posma said that's called perjury.
Correct.
And have you been charged for any crime of lying on the stand in this matter?
No.
So Sean drove off and you called him about 15 times or so from Elena's phone.
Yes.
And on the interview on June 29th, 2011, you had indicated, why would he be ignoring my calls if I'm blowing up his phone?
Correct.
You know why, don't you?
No.
Well, what does Sean typically do when you call his phone 20, 30, 40 times a day?
That's a bit of an exaggeration at times, but there's a difference.
Well, the day previous to this, June 28th, you called his phone about 20 times.
Okay.
There's times when you will dial the phone, he doesn't answer or puts you through to voicemail, you hit end and you hit dial and call again,
Okay.
correct? You do that sometimes?
When he doesn't give me my child, yeah.
And sometimes Sean shuts off the phone
He does.
when you're repeatedly calling him.
He does.
You didn't tell the police that that was something that he normally does when you're calling him all the time?
They never asked, why would I?
Well, you indicated, why would he be ignoring my calls if I'm blowing up his phone? And
Like I
that's
said, there's
typically
a,
his response is he shuts his phone off when you're doing that, correct?
but he doesn't with my child. He doesn't just take Kate like that.
Well, it's possible he didn't know that Kate was in the car, correct?
Objection, Your Honor, calls for speculation. She can't testify what he knew or did not know.
Based on your actions that day, is there any possibility that he didn't know that she was in the car?
I don't know what Sean thought that day, because he doesn't talk to anybody, so,
But you originally walked around the car and to get Kate out, correct?
correct,
You put her back in, closed the door, correct?
correct. And told him I'd be right back.
She wasn't crying, correct?
No, but she would have been.
Well, she would have been, she wasn't crying at the time, was
I
she?
know my daughter. She didn't have her
Well,
note.
I believe
Whoa,
this.
whoa, whoa, she was answering, Your Honor, objection, she was answering and he cut her off. He knows the answer.
There's been several instances of that. Wait for the answer, counsel, and wait for the question. Witness, please.
She would have been, because I know my daughter, and she can't go that long without a pacifier. And I had the pacifier in my hand, and he didn't have a spare. So there's no way that whole time that she didn't cry.
You weren't in the car though, were you?
No, but I birthed her, and I raised her, and I know that.
That wasn't the question, you weren't in the car, were you?
I wasn't.
So you don't know if she made a sound or not?
You're right, I don't.
Sean was a pretty good dad, correct?
He was.
Good dad to Haley,
Yes,
good dad to Kate.
yes,
With Kate, they were bonded,
I thought they had a pretty good bond, yes.
and he appeared to love her,
He did.
and he would care for her when you were at work,
He did.
and he would care for her while, on one occasion when you went to, I believe, a family funeral or a family event.
After begging him, because I didn't have a sitter and my brother died, and I needed a sitter.
Okay, so you begged him for that.
I did.
He'd buy diapers and necessities and help out.
Yes.
He'd feed her,
He did.
he'd bathe her.
Yes.
In fact, I think you had talked about an incident where she, I don't know if you were work or out, but he was caring for her and she had explosive diarrhea everywhere.
Yes.
And you came home and he told you about it, was laughing about it, that he cleaned her all up, gave her a bath, and, told you his parenting experience that day.
He did.
And even in talking about the issue of adoption, he had mentioned to you that he wanted to do it soon because he was becoming attached to her.
He did.
And I believe that in a letter that you had wrote to Sean that you had told him that any incident that occurred in this matter that you believed was an accident.
I did.
Objection, Your Honor, that's the conclusion for the jury to make, that's.
That, I believe, was asked, did she write that to him? And the answer was yes. I'll overrule your objection.
So that was your answer. You wrote to him that you believed that it was an accident.
That's true.
All right, I have no other questions.
Ms.
All right,
Court-
redirect.
Ms. Courtland, I think the jury might be a little bit confused. There's been a series of text messages in this case where you indicated, Kate, we have to take Kate today, are we gonna take her today, et cetera. A number of them, correct?
Yes.
All right. Was there ever a family waiting to take Kate?
No.
All right. And can you tell members of the jury why you would do that? Make those types of representations to the defendant?
I thought that if I kind of went along with what he was saying, that maybe he would come to realize that, he wanted to change his mind, because I know Sean and I know him well enough that I knew that once he saw Kate and was around Kate, that he wouldn't want to get rid of her. He wouldn't, I mean, get rid of her, I mean, give her up for adoption or have an abortion. I seen the way he was with Haley, and he was a good dad. And I think that's what frustrated me the whole time, was because he didn't want Kate, but he was a good dad, and I didn't understand that.
So even though there were discussions about adoption, there was never really like a physical family lined up in place, is that correct?
Correct.
So those text messages to him, let me ask you this. Many of those text messages that Mr. Clancy referred to were prefaced by comments such as, okay, you're still ignoring me, fine, I'm gonna do this to Kate, or would you please stop ignoring me? Would you do that to get Sean to respond to you when he was ignoring you?
Correct.
And have you previously testified to that?
I did.
All right. Counsel, page 50 and 51, the first trial. Do you recall?
Hold on, what volume of transcript?
Two.
And then what page is it?
Yeah, it would be 50 and 51. Do you remember being asked, sounds like you're pretty persistent in some of these text messages about the adoption about the adoption issue. Do you recall being asked that?
I do.
Okay. And did you testify under oath that the reason you were persistent about it is the same reason on the
Your Honor,
adoption?
I would object this as leading.
Do you recall what you testified, why you were so persistent on the issue?
Again, Your Honor, I would object this as leading.
Oh,
At the second question, and I'll sustain your first objection, but the second one, she reformed the question, so you recall what you said, answer to that question. To that, you're overruled.
do you recall being asked why you were so persistent about the adoption issue?
On which occasion are we talking about?
During the course of the time frame from February to June, the text messages. Do you remember being asked under oath previously why you were so persistent in texting him, somebody's here to take Kate?
Yes.
All right. Do you remember what you answered?
I don't.
All right. Would your transcript refresh your memory?
It would.
All right. And I'll refer you to the second star on that page. Just take a moment if you would and review that. Does that refresh your memory as to what you testified to under oath as to why you were so persistent with those adoption texts?
It does.
And why?
For the reasons that I had stated previously, and I felt like at the time that he would use Haley as a way to get what he wanted from me, and he knew that Haley was his only direct way because she was our baby, and we were both really attached to her, and he knew that by keeping Haley from me, it would hurt me.
All right. Well, I'm talking about in regards to the adoption, or the text messages about the adoption of Kate.
Correct.
All right. So you would do that to get him to respond to you
Yes.
when he was ignoring you?
Yes.
And would that usually cause him to change his behavior and respond to you in some way?
Yes, that's when he would start doing the things that I just talked about.
Ms. Courtland, you indicated that there was never any problem between the defendant and Haley. In response to a question from counsel, he was a good dad to Haley, is that correct?
He was a great dad.
All right. Do you remember giving an interview to the FBI on 4th of July 2011?
Not specifically, but I do remember an interview.
Okay, and would a copy of that report refresh your memory as to what you said to them?
It would.
Counsel, it's page 4, FBI interview 7/4/2011.
Okay,
Does that refresh your memory?
it does.
What did you previously tell the FBI about the defendant's relationship with Haley after she was born?
Right after Haley was born, he went through kind of a postpartum depression that women go through, the same type of thing when women get really depressed and they feel like they want to hurt their child. Sean went through that for a couple of months, and he was responsible about it though. He came to me and he told me that he didn't want to be alone with Haley yet when she was really little, because he thought that he was going through some sort of a postpartum depression, and that he didn't want to do anything. He would rather have me there to help, and it was his first time being a dad, so I respected that.
In fact, he said he wanted to strangle your daughter, is that correct?
I think he said that he had thoughts about that, but that's because of the postpartum depression, like I was saying.
Well, who diagnosed the defendant with postpartum depression back
I would
then?
object, Your Honor. I don't believe that this is, anything that Ms. Courtland has information based on this report.
Do you have any information about?
We have an objection.
I'll rephrase the question.
Thank you.
Do you have any information about anybody diagnosing the defendant with postpartum depression?
No, but I felt the same way.
All right, that's not the question. I'm just asking you, do you have any information that he was diagnosed with that?
No,
All right, so that's your diagnosis?
no, that's just what was obvious
Okay.
to everybody, not just me.
And you told the FBI that he was depressed and he had feelings and he wanted to smuggle your daughter. And you were asked to
Your Honor, I would
clarify if
object
that was
again. This is-
strangle.
Hang on, we have an objection.
This is leading the witness.
What exactly did you tell the FBI?
I'm confused about what we're talking, we just talk about that? I'm not sure exactly what I'm being asked.
What did you tell the FBI that the defendant wanted to do to your daughter Haley after she was born?
I just said what he said, though. Do you want me to repeat what,
Yes.
again? That he had thoughts of hurting her, and that's why he asked me to be around when he was there, or one of his parents.
What did you tell about the FBI about hurting her how? What specific method?
I think he said suffocating or strangled or something like that.
Okay.
That's not uncommon.
There was a series of questions about, well, first off, you were asked about saying, the more I thought about it, I had some memories of, during the argument, it might have come up, you can take her or you never take her. Do you recall that testimony?
I do.
And Mr. Glancy asked you a series of questions about that and about testifying, and Detective Postma saying that's perjury, correct?
Correct.
Did you read the entire transcript, or did you start there, stop there when you were reviewing?
I believe I read the whole thing.
All right. And did you clarify when you were asked about whether or not you perjured yourself on that occasion, whether or not you did?
I said that I was adding more to my story.
Did you say you never lied?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
which is still correct. I never lied. I just remembered, and they said that was perfectly fine.
Okay. I have nothing further.
Recross?
Thank you, Your Honor. So you told Sean about an adoptive family that wasn't true,
Correct.
right? So you lied to him.
Correct.
And you said that you would talk to him about abortions, mainly to get him to come around.
Correct.
And you sent him those text messages that we went over, correct?
Correct,
That we need to do this now, are we doing it tonight, tomorrow?
correct.
He didn't show up and say, okay, let's do this. He didn't show up at your house and do that, did he?
Well, a lot of the times, yes,
He'd show up and say, let's do this.
he would,
He'd throw you in the car and put Kate in the car and you drive off.
not throwing us, like, that's a bit much, but he would come over, yes, on numerous of occasions,
Okay? For that reason.
right?
And there was no place ever to go?
No,
Did you ever say, okay, we're gonna get in the car and we're gonna drive over here and this lady's ready to take her?
no,
So you would just lie to him to get him to come over,
to be a supportive dad,
to get him to do what you wanted?
I shouldn't have to get him to, I shouldn't have to convince him to be a good dad, that should just come natural.
Well, you didn't, he said he was a good father.
He was, you're
He was a
talking about
great
when I was
father.
pregnant and went right after I had Kate, right? When he was
And-
badgering me to get rid of her?
He was badgering you to get rid of her.
Exactly.
Okay. You're texting that you were a willing participant in this and quite actively involved in it as well,
Because
correct?
he wouldn't let it go.
It doesn't appear that you would let it go either.
That's not true. I wanted him to be a family and to stop.
Well,
That
he-
wasn't gonna happen.
He even said that we were gonna do this adoption, we need to do it soon because he was becoming bonded to her and loved her.
Correct.
Correct? You were, previously we were talking about where, or in what direction you walked from the car.
Your Honor, objection, this exceeds the scope of redirect.
I believe, Your Honor, this was a matter that I had indicated that I would come back to if I found information on that in the
You
report.
did. Proceed.
This would be the second interview at LPD with Detective Kinney. Same thing on the June 29th, I believe on page 3. You were asked, okay, when you went to go and unbuckle Kate and you were unbuckling her, you decided to go get the stroller. So then you walked back around the car. Did you walk around the front of the car or around the back of the car?
Objection asked and answered 3 times.
I believe
I'm
you're
going
on.
to overrule that because he said he needed to get some information. He has found that information. You may proceed.
And you responded, originally, I have no idea, I don't remember.
Correct.
Okay? And then he says, okay, then you, and you interrupted, maybe, probably the back, because it was, probably would have been closer.
Correct.
So from where the car was parked, and in relation to your apartment and the storage unit where the stroller was, you're saying it's more probable that you walked around the back of the car because that was closer to, in relation to how the car was parked and where you were located.
That's what I had previously testified to.
Okay. I have nothing further.
All right.
Do you remember differently now?
I thought that it was the front. I don't even want to say any more about it because I guess I don't remember.
Just one last question. Your memory would have been more clear back right after the incident occurred than today, correct?
Maybe I didn't remember a whole lot then. A lot had just happened. It's hard to remember every detail when
Well,
something
he said
traumatic
that-
happens.
He said that today, through numerous questions, that it's been 5 years and you would have some difficulty remembering, correct?
Yes,
So something that you would have given in the interview the day that this incident occurred was probably more accurate with your memory, correct?
I just answered that. I don't know.
All right, I have no other questions.
All right. Witness may sit down. So, let's get back here for a minute. Questions from the jury? Do you have questions for this witness? We had a question presented, and, counsel, I need to have you review the question. And see if we're going to ask it.
I think it was answered, Your Honor, and then follow up.
questions that have been presented. Ms. Courtland, on Thursday, the prosecution asked you if you told Sean an adoption family was set up because you were trying to keep Sean happy. You replied, yes. On Friday, the defense asked you the same question regarding an adoption family being ready to take Kate, and you responded, I'm not sure. Could you clarify this?
Yes, I did say a lot of those things because of those reasons, yes.
You did say, go ahead, I'm sorry, you're real faint. Can you repeat your answer?
Yes, I did say those things to make it so Sean would, whatever, I don't remember what they just even asked.
The question was trying to keep Sean happy.
Yes, trying to keep Sean happy. I did say a lot of those things to keep him happy, and I did previously state that in, the interviews with the detectives.
All right, we did have another request, and I will not ask those questions. Any other questions? All right. You may step down.
Your Honor, at this time, if people would call Elena Campbell to the stand. No. Oh, I'm sorry. Your Honor, Ms. Courtland was asked to be allowed to stay in the courtroom. Now that her testimony is finished, I'd ask that being a victim, that she's under the Victims' Right Act, that she be allowed to be in this courtroom.
I'm going to just inquire with the prosecution for a minute. Your Honor, I believe that the discussion with the prosecutor tonight, I'm going to call her for any other, address on other matters that I have any objection for, where you can spoke.
You may remain.
Ms. Campbell, if you would just come this way.
Witness, come on up and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony about you in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay. Be seated. Your yes was very faint. I'm not even sure we got it on the recording system. We need to have you speak loudly. Everyone in this courtroom has to hear you. In order to do that, you have to remember to speak loudly. Speak to the back wall. We've got to have the ability to understand and hear your testimony. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ms. Campbell, would you please introduce yourself to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
I'm Elena Campbell.
And Ms. Campbell, I want to direct your attention to June of 2011. Can you tell the members of the jury